Today I am making a killifish spawning container, and this is for my Simpsonichthys santanae killifish. They are peat spawners, which means that they dive into the earth, or in this case compressed coconut fiber. And I bought this container and only used like about that much of it. Not very much. So this is just a tiny bit. It expands a whole bunch. And I put it into this boiling water, and I'm just boiling it to kill anything that was in there, and also it helps it sink. You're going to want to stir this frequently, but yep, so I'm boiling it. Alright. Here is my Tupperware container. I ran the Tupperware under near boiling water from the tap, the faucet, to get rid of any... Sometimes they put a coating on it so that it doesn't stick to the other Tupperwares around it, and I just ran it under near boiling water to get that off. And then I cut out this hole with a knife, and just make sure you get rid of any sharp edges so that the fish don't get cut when they're diving into this container. Now I'm going to use a hot glue gun and these accent gems that I got from the dollar store. They're just glass weights, and I'm going to glue them to the bottom of the Tupperware once it's dry. And these weights will keep the spawning container on the bottom because it has a tendency to float. But once the rocks are on, it'll weight it down and hold it on the bottom of the fish tank. You can use a glass nail file. This is my glass nail file, and I'm just filing the edges down, which is it's a way to make it soft. And I did that off camera because it was a pretty annoying sound. But yeah. Okay, so to cool it down, because I am lazy and I really wanted this cool, what I did was you can see that it's not all the way full of coconut fiber. So I poured some cold water on top of it, and water has a very high heat capacity, so basically water can change things temperature really effectively. So cold water on this really cooled it down very fast. And then it was swirling a little bit, but the densest material was on the bottom, so I used a method called decanting, which is where you pour off, tilt it this way, see how it does that? You pour off the top layer to separate it from the bottom layer. So decanting, again, you pour and you tilt and you pour off the top without, and then once you get down to the bottom layer you stop pouring. So it's called decanting. I poured it into my toilet and flushed. I mean, there's not a lot of solids in that, so the septic system can totally handle it. So, yep, decanted it, and then I'm left with cold coconut fiber because it was like boiling hot, and it stayed hot for a really long time, so I was like, screw that. So, so now I'm going to make, you can see I've got a container of water, the coconut fiber boiled, and the reason why we boil it, again, is to keep it aseptic, so we kill any spores, larvae, flies, bugs, insects, anything in there. It's been boiled. Also, second reason, it sinks now. It didn't sink as much before, and I just boiled it for like a half hour. That's it. And then we've got our glass rock container and the nail file application treated lid. So I filed that down. So all we have to do now is scoop this, scoop, transfer, voila. And basically the easiest way to keep this from muddying up, because it's basically mud, let's be realistic, it's mud. So the way to keep this from muddying up your tank is to fill it with water, ta-da, before sticking it in your tank. And yeah. So again, peat spawning killifish, they really like to dive down into this, and they're going to lay their eggs here, and what's going to happen is that every 2 weeks or so I'm going to pull this out, and I'll have 20 eggs, I don't know, some eggs, and then I'll sell the eggs. You can ship them by airmail, it's really easy, like $1.14 I think is the current price of a USPS international stamp, the forever price. So we're gonna pour the water in. this really demonstrates the decanting that I said. Like, there's two layers here. There's actual solidness, and then there's just something that's opaque because of the fine sediment, but it's not actually a solid. So, alright, so filled it up, put the lid on. I'm gonna set this down for a second. Right, and now it is full of water, and then you can see the two layers. Yep. So we have an actual solid layer, and we have like little sediment layer. Your water is not going to look like that. If you just put peat in your tank, it would totally look like that. Okay, now we're going to transfer it. Going over here to the Killifish tank. Hello, Killifish. Yeah, whatever. Alright, and I'm just going to put it in there. So, alright, I'm going to try to do this on camera, because I don't know when to stop. Alright, so... Yeah, okay. Alright, went down with fairly no difficulty. Oh, alright. Yay, it works. Alright. Do you like it? Well, you will like it. Yeah. Alright, so that is the coconut fiber filled spawning container. They can go in through that hole, lay their eggs down there, and then there's enough space for them to exit off the top. Oh, they're all excited. Oh gosh. Ah! Alright, and it looks like it floats. Okay, maybe I'll put the rocks inside there. So, depending on your hot glue gun, you may just have to stick the rocks right in there. Well, now you have the real honest truth. So I had to stick the rocks inside the container so you can see them. Alright, well, there is the Killifish spawning container. Alright, thanks for watching. This is like half an hour later. The fish entered this spawning container basically immediately. I think they really like the smell of it or something, I'm not sure.